Starting live, and you are live now.
We are live now. Okay, so.
Let me get loaded here. Takes everybody a few minutes to hop on there. Oh yeah, just so we want. Okay. Look at that.
So I don't have my computer, so we're just gonna.
Use your phone.
There we go.
That's us.
That's us.
Wait, why is it?
We'll let people catch up.
It's kind of blurry. This isn't blurry though. Just my computer is. There we go. Okay, that fixed it. Joe just fanboyed again. He goes, oh my gosh. That's so funny. Yep, you got people rolling in. So.
Yeah, we're already, it's only 30 seconds already.
Yeah, I'm going to share it to my page really quick. We'll get started here in just 1 minute, everybody.
Okay, and I think Suzanne's going to share the group.
Yeah, Suzanne was going to take care of Eric because just so you got both your. Oh, Janelle just joined, so you're good with that.
I should go on my page and share it.
You can do that.
Yeah, if you want to.
Let me see.
If you go to the Main Street Mouse's page and hit share,
Okay.
and then you can share it to yours too. Our numbers are
Doris
climbing.
in the
Hi
upper
guys,
ears.
so we're just gonna give it a minute to get people caught up, and as usual, please be sure to share with your friends because we always need your help.
I'm doing that right now.
And he's doing it right now, and this is going to be a fantastic show because we have Mark with us. So you're going to want your friends to see this as well. I promise you. Sharing is caring.
People are starting to pop in from other states, and we usually get some people from Ireland, I think, is the one we get.
Yeah, we do. We usually get them. There's a girl from Brazil that watches.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to do it in Portuguese?
No.
If you can.
That would be pretty good, actually.
I know 5 languages except Portuguese.
Except Portuguese. Okay.
Tell me when you want me to come in for.
Okay, we're going to give it just another.
Give it another minute. The numbers are going up pretty quick already.
I might need help for how to share it. So I'm seeing it here. So click here.
Here, you want to go. Wait, oh, wait, no. That's last week's, I apologize.
The
Here we are.
Okay.
Somebody from the UK says she
Yeah,
should be asleep.
and if
She
you want
wants
to
to
put
watch.
it to your
Okay.
newsfeed, you can do that.
Shut up.
What's that?
Lynn from the UK is on.
Lynn
She
from
said,
the UK.
I should be sleeping, but I.
Oh, see? So Lynn stayed up to watch us. Thank you, Lynn.
We got to make it exciting then. This wasn't worth me staying up.
I know, it's just going to be like, we got to keep her awake and happy. Awesome.
So cool.
All right, so. And then if anybody can't watch the whole feed, or you have to go for whatever reason, we're gonna pin this show to the top of the page like we do every week, and we will also save it to our YouTube channel so you can watch it at a later time if need be.
Yep.
So, all right, Scott.
It's going to have like, it's going to have high replay value. Like
Yes.
a video game. It's
Yeah.
gonna be Easter eggs in it.
Yes,
Like
for
PlayStation,
sure.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. You ready for me to do the
I am ready for
intro?
you to do your thing. You go right ahead.
All right. Hello, welcome to TMSM Weekly Live, show number 33 for December 3rd, 2018. I am not your host today. I'm your cameraman, Scott. We also have Michelle here, who'll be with our co-host, our guest of honor. I had to write down his accolades.
He wrote it.
I didn't want to miss anything. So you might know him as host of Inside Disney Parks.
Yes.
The host of the Disney Park live streams.
Yes, which is one tomorrow.
Which is one tomorrow. Host at New York City Comic Con.
Yes.
C2E2 in Chicago.
Woo.
Playlist Live.
Yeah.
He also is the warm-up and panel host for all you Star Wars fans at Celebration for both the USA and Europe. And let's not forget, Daytime Emmy Award winner for the Disney Parks Unforgettable Christmas Celebration. Please welcome our friend, Mark Daniel.
Mark Daniel. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
And I'm going to go and let you guys go on the show.
That was a great intro.
You like that
I should
one?
carry you around.
I told her that. I said, Mark,
Before I
then
walk
you're
into a
gonna
room,
go.
I'm going to send Scott in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what he said. We're gonna give him a really good intro, to make it good. You're gonna need him for a later date.
That's it. See, I'm making my work.
Well, hello fans, and thanks for having me, Michelle.
Well, thank you for coming.
Beautiful home and beautiful studio.
Well, thank you so very much. As a lot of you who have followed us over the years, you know that we are fans of Mark, and we have seen him at parade tapings and at Star Wars events and Parks Live videos. He has really, he's everywhere. And it's good. It's a good thing because one thing personally that I like about you is that you are just as nice in person as you are on film. And you're a very sweet, humble, and kind person. And I am really happy with all that you do, all your success. And I think that our watchers are going to want to hear your stories. He's got stories.
I got stories.
Yeah. So I thought that...
I just celebrated 25 years at Walt Disney World. 25.
That's impressive.
A lot of stories in there.
Yes, and he brought trinkets for us so obviously he's watched the show before because he knows that we usually have little things up here to display. So he brought something to display as well that we're going to talk about.
Two things I'm very proud of.
And I thought what we could do is Scott is going to be fielding questions from behind the camera. So if you do have something that you want to ask Mark, please go ahead and we're going to get to whatever we can. And in between stories and banter and fun things.
There we go.
That works?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we might not get all the questions.
Yes, we might not get all of them, but we're going to go ahead and try.
I will make a copy of them, take them home, and answer them in snail mail individually.
Snail mail.
To answer your question.
And again, please feel free to share this video with your friends because we really are excited about this show tonight. So I thought what we could do, and I had already told Mark that we are very low-key, laid back, and fun. So we're just going to kind of wing it like usual.
Okay.
And
There's no script?
No script.
What? Wait a minute.
No teleprompter.
What kind of Mickey Mouse operation is this? The best kind.
The best kind. And no teleprompter, no nothing. We have your lights and that's about all we got.
There is no teleprompter in this.
So I thought what we could do is we could start off you telling everyone about you getting started at Disney and some of the fun jobs that you've got to do, and you just go ahead, just run with it.
What did I do? How did I get started at Disney? Well, I got started at Disney. It was my high school job. Straight out of high school. I was still in high school actually when I worked for Walt Disney World. I lived in an area of, I lived in Seffner, Florida, which is like right outside of Tampa, right past Lakeland, middle of nowhere. You can still see my high school from I-4 when you pass the notice. That's in Florida, Armwood High School. So I was a spirit representative for Walt Disney World at my high school, and what that meant was. If they came to my high school, you had to have a certain grade point average. You had to have you could have bad attendance. And what you would do is they would give you applications and flyers to hang up around the high school. And that's how, and I represented Walt Disney World. So I worked part-time at the Magic Kingdom, and I did the Electric Light Parade as what was called a canopy carrier. So fans of the Electric Light Parade, if you don't know, it used to be this giant canopy of lights with beautiful dancers underneath. I could not dance, but I could walk and carry weight. So I would walk under the canopy as a canopy carrier while beautiful dancers danced along the parade route of the Electric Light Parade right before it went to Disneyland. And when it went to Disneyland, I then learned Spectral Magic.
Yes.
Yeah, Spectral Magic Parade. And Spectral Magic Parade was a unique parade at that time because Electric Light Parade, one color. You marched and, the fun music and everything, but Spectral was state of the art. It actually changed. So the floats would actually change color from white to color as it went down the parade route. And also the performers away from the parade route would switch themselves. So you would see the lights changing and you would actually switch yourself. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So Spectral Magic was one of my favorites.
Oh, really?
I actually kind of missed that parade. I believe my kids saw Spectral Magic before they saw the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Oh, really? Okay.
When they were little.
Yeah.
Because
it went away.
It did. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
do you miss those old parades and such?
I miss parades. I love parades. Parades are fantastic. When I first came to Disney, I didn't grow up with Disney. I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago, but my aunt brought me to Disney when I was a kid, and I didn't know what Disney was. I knew Mickey Mouse.
Right.
I knew cartoons. I knew the Mickey Mouse watch, but I didn't know Disney as a theme park.
Okay.
From being from a different country. So, but when I did come, I remember seeing the day parade, and I remember seeing the night parade, and I still love parades because it's something that if you're at the park all day, and let's say you just don't get to see some things, maybe because you didn't get around to it or whatever, the parade was something a lot of people could watch at once. And I felt like if you just left and you didn't see, let's say you didn't get to see a show or an attraction, you could be like, yeah, but I did see the parade. The parade is a concentration of all your favorite characters and performers. So it's like a nice concentration of Disney magic going by, and everybody's familiar with parades, right? I mean, every hometown has a parade, so everybody can relate to a parade. It's just a Disney parade.
Well, sure, because a Disney parade is kind of like how they say fireworks in other cities. Like I know when we go home and like 4th of July in Michigan, and they'll be like the local fireworks shows. And when we go watch them now, my family teases me. They're like, "Well, you're used to Disney." You know what I mean?
Disney.
You're just you. I'm sure because everybody's oohing and on, and we're just like, "Oh, those are nice."
Yeah.
You know,
8 minutes of fireworks.
Yeah, I know. Where's the projections?
Yeah.
Where's the music? So you get a little Disney spoiled, but you know, like nobody doesn't like Disney. Nobody doesn't like Disney, and I'm not just saying that because I love it. It's the truth.
Yeah.
But what a way to start out, though. I mean,
It was a great time, and from that, then I went into doing the 3 o'clock parade, which was the surprise parade, which was a lot of fun. That parade had big balloons in it, and a lot of fun. So I did a lot of the parades when I first started at Disney.
And isn't that kind of funny though? Because then, way later in your career, then you started helping with the holiday parades
That's
and
right.
tapings and such.
Yeah.
So it kind of went full circle.
Full circle to be a part of the parade, and then like bring the parade to the world. Yeah.
Yes, and that's a good. We're going to talk about that one later because I have all kinds of things to talk about when it comes to that.
And then and so I did a lot of stuff, so I was in the entertainment department, and I did the first ever Star Wars weekends.
You did?
Yes, Star Wars weekends. I did the first ever Star Wars weekends. I think it was in 1990. I'm bad with dates, and this is live, so we can't edit it.
Oh,
1993.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I know a lot of the fans are like, no, it was 1994. It could be 1997. I'm not sure. 97. Nailed it. Peter Mayhew and David Prowse. I mean, these people. And what was unique about it is they were just walking around. It wasn't as big as what Star Wars Weekends ended up being. It only happened actually at Star Tours and a little bit on.
The video had interrupted, but it's already back.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're
okay,
back.
yeah, I was
Sorry
going to
about
say
that.
it stopped for a minute.
Did it stop? Did you guys miss the names that I said? Did you guys miss Mark Hamill walking in? Thanks, Mark, for stopping by. We'll see you later. Did you guys miss that? Was that going?
Okay, they're all saying, okay, you're back. So
Okay.
we're good?
So we missed something. Yeah.
I don't know how much.
Yeah, I don't know when it went out exactly.
I think it only went out for a second. Is that right?
I don't know if it's because there's bad weather in the area. Could have knocked us out.
I think are we still good? If anybody.
Yeah, we never lost the signal.
We never lost it. It just kind of froze for a sec.
I
Okay.
was talking about the first Star Wars weekends and
Okay.
some of the celebrities that came and how it was. If that's what you missed, I don't know, but it wasn't as big as it would end up being, incorporating Clone Wars and prequels and different things like that. Back then, it was just about nostalgia. There was no new Star Wars. It was about New Hope and.
Did they do the same type of things back then? Like when Star Wars weekends closed out, there were so many activities that they had going on throughout the day. When it started, was it like that as well?
No, not at all. So where Jedi training is now, that stage was a stage that they used to have like a snow speeder and a skiff on display.
Okay.
And then they turned it into a stage, and we would have some equity hosts. I know Don Lampkin was one of the hosts, and he would interview the celebrities at that point. So I remember being there with David Prowse, Peter Mayhew, and they would do some interviews, and Warwick Davis and Kenny Baker. So they would do little interviews, so you'd still get the interview.
Yeah.
I think they were still autographed, so I think they would pass out pictures. A long time ago at Disney's Hollywood Studios, we used to have what was called a handprint ceremony. And they would have celebrities that would be there. So their parade was a handprint ceremony. So they would have a celebrity that day. And when you walked into the park, when you got a guide map, it would be a little picture of like Pat Morita. He used to do it a lot from Karate Kid. So it'd be like a miniature headshot with a signature on it, and you would get that for free because he was there that day, and that was the handprint ceremony. So you got your map, you got your Pat Morita's here today, and at 3 o'clock, or I don't know the time exactly, but you'd sit in the back of the car, and they would drive down Hollywood,
stuff
and then they would do the
okay.
little handprint ceremony. Like they would tell you the story about who stepped in the cement at the Grauman Chinese Theater. They would do it, they would sign it, and then you can go look at it, and then they would drive the car back. And that was like an event that used to happen back in the 90s.
That is really cool.
So it was the same type thing with Star Wars Weekend. So it was like you look at your little picture and told you who the celebrities were going to be there, and it was and there was a lot of the because. So Chewbacca and an Ewok was at Disney's Hollywood Studios, or when back then it was called Disney MGM Studios. Those characters were actually there when Star Tours opened. So those were the only characters you could see from Star Wars, was a Chewbacca and an Ewok. And so when the first Star Wars weekends came up, then you could see Darth Vader, and you can see more, you can see a Gamorrean guard, and you can see stormtroopers and Imperial guards and different things like that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because, and you know, and plus how you know, the cool part about what you've got to do is you got to see things at their beginning, and, and especially like Star Wars weekends of, you know, to see it evolve into what it was when it closed. And then we had Galactic Nights as well.
Yeah, Galactic Nights was a lot of fun. It was very reminiscent of Star Wars weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to host that. I had the honor of hosting Galactic Nights, and that was fun. And they were giving some very proprietary information, you know, to talk about Galaxy's Edge. And,
yes.
You know,
are you excited about Galaxy's Edge?
I'm very excited. Your show, you talked about some of the stunt Matronics, the
Yes.
the A1000s.
Yes, isn't that crazy?
I know. I saw that video too, and you know, I think, you know, the way those animatronics were flipping and stuff, they're going to be Jedi. That's what I think.
Totally could.
This is not founded in any type of fact at all, I must say. Please have that.
It's speculation.
I'm just a Star Wars fan.
I'm just a Star Wars fan. Because only Jedis flip. Stormtroopers do not flip.
You know what's funny is that when we talked about that on the show, a lot of people were talking about like the old Terminator movies and how these robots they're so lifelike, and how it's really just cool but a little bit creepy because it's to see them doing their own thing. But I guess that's technology for you.
They're gonna look so good though. It might not be creepy.
I don't think it's going to be creepy because the ones they showed at
they had no faces.
Exactly.
That's creepy. They had no arms. And
that's
faces.
why you guys were comparing it to the Terminator because it didn't have had this the the skeletal and the eyeballs, and it was a little scary. It was a little scary. But you know Disney isn't going to allow that. Yeah. So it's going to be cool when it happens.
I mean, look at Donald Trump. He looks amazing in the Hall of Presidents. He looks amazing.
They all do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
they get better every time.
They do get better, and that and Trump is, they said, as of right now, the most high tech animatronic they have besides the shaman.
The shaman is amazing.
To me, when I saw that, it looks like a real creature there. You know what I mean?
Does,
in the Navi River journey, I thought that is really awesome too. So and you know they had said when we were at the media opening for Pandora, and then they said if you like this, wait till you see Galaxy's Edge. You know, so I think that it's going to be really exciting.
Pandora's a great teaser for Galaxy's Edge. I had the privilege of when Pandora was about to open, I was trained as Jonathan Freeman, who was born on Pandora. So I basically went around. I went to New York, different places, and I did talk shows as Jonathan, and I had to learn about the plants and each attraction. And what was really unique, it was a lot of fun because I had an actor with me that was Carol Saragusa. She was a Disney fanatic.
Okay.
So her job, two characters, was she was showing me around. I was from Pandora. My parents were born on Earth, but I was born on Pandora. And I was new to the planet, so she was showing me around Disney. And I was an ace field guide. So every time I talked about each attraction, I didn't talk about it like it was an attraction. I talked about it like it was real. And she would talk about it. Oh, he's talking about the Navi River journey. I would say, we have a thing where you can get into this reed boat. And you would go down a very spiritual river. And if you're lucky, you might run into the shaman of songs. And she's like, he's talking about the attraction called so-and-so. But it was a lot of fun to have fun with that. Say, there's a moment where there's different tribes, and we have met with some of the tribes. We'll allow you to experience the rite of passage for the Na'vi. And that is riding on the back of an Iklan.
Right.
You know, and she's talking about flight of passage. So, but I had to learn all this lingo
a lot to know.
and jargon. There's a lot. I had my little, they sell that little translator.
Yes.
Before each interview, I'd be like, Calte! Okay. Iraho! Oh, I got it. So,
like what?
Yeah, I had like my top 5 cards.
I have a question from Chrissy, who's Joe's wife, and Chrissy says she's freaking out because you're on this.
Oh, hey,
She
Chrissy.
must be a big fan. But Chrissy has a question for you. She wants to know, if you were to bring a friend to Disney for the first time, what would you love them to see that you'd be most excited about them seeing away from?
If I'm bringing a friend to Disney for the first time, it would be, for the first time, I would go to the Magic Kingdom, because I've brought family that have never been, and I would walk them past the trains, the entrance to the train station where you see the big Mickey, not a topiary, but the big Mickey planter.
Yeah.
Which is one of the most iconic things in the world, and you see the train, and I would walk past that, and I would walk them off to the corner and show them like the attractions under the train station, which are like movie posters.
Yeah.
And you know why the sidewalk is red, right?
I do know this.
You know that, yeah.
Yeah,
I know you fans know because it's the red carpet.
Yeah.
And walk them and let them see that, and then I would walk them onto Main Street, and then just not tell them about the castle, and just don't say anything, and watch their reaction. It is a visceral reaction when people see that castle.
It is.
It is. You can't help it. It's just like they see it and they're like, oh, there it is, and it's just at the end of the street, just ah.
It gets you.
Yeah, it does. And so if somebody's never been to Walt Disney World, I would take them to the Magic Kingdom, show them a lot of stuff, and then just let them stumble upon themselves to the castle. I wouldn't say anything. I would just kind of walk and move over and watch them just see it and enjoy that reaction.
You know, it's funny you say that because when we moved here, I'll keep my story really short, but it's about what you had said. One of my girlfriends from back home, she, was my age and she had never been to Disney. And that's exactly what I did.
Oh, yeah.
We had our cameras out waiting
Yeah.
so when she could turn around on Main Street and see the castle.
Yeah.
Because it's just such, it gets you. She cried,
Oh,
and then
yeah,
we
yeah,
cried
yeah.
because she cried.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it's a
saying?
great experience to see somebody really like see it and it hits them that wow, I'm here. And on a side note, real quick, when I went to Disneyland for the second time, the coolest thing I would hear while I was waiting to get into the park that I didn't really hear at Magic Kingdom was so many people were like, "We did it, we're here. We did it, we're here. We did it, we're here. We did it, we're here." And that was so cool to hear at Disneyland because for Disneyland, people are trying to get there.
Yes.
It's just like, now I think it's the same for Walt Disney World, but it's a little different because I think Walt Disney World, the difference, my opinion is, when you get to the Magic Kingdom, you've been at Walt Disney World. You've passed hotels, you've seen how Disney does things, but you can literally get to Disneyland at the gates and not experience Disney yet.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Fully agree.
So that's that point where they're like, oh, we're here. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Whereas when you come to Magic Kingdom, you might be riding the bus and you see Mickey in the windows on the bus.
Or on the monorail, you can see the castle as you're going
and you
by.
see all that stuff. Not a bad thing.
No.
But it's just you don't get that reaction at that point when you're at the gates of Disneyland and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm here and I'm going to see it.
Yeah,
So,
it's the anticipation. Plus, you got to remember too. I think for us, a lot of people who haven't been to Disneyland yet, they want to walk where Walt walked. It's Walt's original vision, so a lot of people get excited. I'm finally here in that regard too because
it's inspirational.
It is.
Yeah.
I know, and it's funny when you go from Disney World being used to it, and you go to Disneyland and you see their castle. It looks so small compared to ours. You know what I mean?
I like to trip over it.
Trip over it.
Just kidding.
No, but it's still, it's just as magical.
But you got, and I like the fact that it's so small. Cause could you imagine when Walt was building that back then? He'd be like, "What are you trying to do now? Why is it so big?
Why is it so big?
What now?"
They would have left him.
It's very quaint and wonderful. So, did you have another question before we keep going? Or?
Well, she just kept saying she was blushing. Chrissy was blushing. And then somebody commented, Chrissy, it's like your friend now because he's talking to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Chrissy, we go ahead. I'm pouring some out for Chrissy.
Because I know I've seen questions on here, and I know that there's a lot. But if you need to interrupt us, then
I like
please
questions
do.
too.
I don't know if Mark will answer this one, but somebody, Martin Keeler in the UK asked...
Martin Keeler, what's up, Martin? That's my man.
Asked Mark what his first gig was in the UK. He said it's a doozy.
Oh, man. It was a Star Wars fan event at the O2 put on by Martin Keeler. Oh, it was awesome, man. It was a charity event. They raised money. It was a lot of fun. We had Martin. You put me on the spot, man. There was so much going on. We had Martin. Type out the band. The band is huge in London, but they performed. We had Blue Harvest perform, which is a really fun Star Wars fan tribute band. And they're just amazing too. We had Darth Elvis and
Oh, get out! That's awesome.
It was awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was a fantastic event at the O2, and I hosted that. And DJ Elliott played music. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, right next to, right after Celebration. Yeah, Martin, what's up, man? I hope I did you justice.
I don't know if that means anything. He said Ash?
Ash. They're a huge group in London. They actually got them to perform, and that was
Yeah, he said it, and he didn't ask for like Disney I can't say the word. Prepared. How do you say that?
Proprietary?
Proprietary. He didn't ask anything other than Disney, so I was like, I think I can answer that.
Yeah.
I can't talk, but I asked that. So, questions just popping up. Somebody wants to know what it's like visiting Skywalker Ranch. It's actually Suzanne, one of our admins.
Suzanne, Skywalker Ranch. Skywalker Ranch was surreal. Let me tell you, Skywalker Ranch was beautiful. So Skywalker Ranch has Skywalker Sound at the Tech Building. So many movies do their post-production in there. Wow. Marvel movies, I know you're a big Marvel fan. Oh, yeah. Black Panther was, Creed. So many movies. It's beautiful. It's sprawling acres. I think they only built on 4% of it. Wow. Olive trees, olive groves, winery. Lake Ewok is a man-made lake. It has its own fire department. Oh. And their fire department helped with a lot of the fires that were happening in California, yeah.
Wow.
So they have their own fire department, which is surreal to see. You see a fire truck, and it's not the usual colors, and it says Skywalker Ranch Fire Department. There's a whole fire station there. The main house is beautiful. I stayed at the inn. Each room is created, was designed to reflect people that inspired George Lucas, and it's beautiful. It's very inspirational, and you can tell that there's a lot of creativity there. And it's not like you don't go in there and see the Millennium Falcon parts in the corner. It's like that. It's not like that, but it's really cool. You see some Star Wars things, but you can tell that this inspired something. It's very inspirational to walk around. And going in the house. It would be like, I envision going into the main house where George Lucas doesn't live there anymore. It's offices now, but still set up like a Victorian house. It would be like going into Walt's house. Like if Walt was still alive, you wouldn't see Mickey Mouse everywhere. Not a bad thing, but you would see what inspired Mickey Mouse. Mm-hmm. So it would be like, well, what is that? Well, that is a type of mouse. I'm making this up, by the way. This is a type of mouse that inspired Mickey. And you're like, oh, really? This is a rabbit that inspired Oswald. You know what I mean? So you'd see the things that inspired him. So going through the house was really cool. What the coolest thing I saw was he collects a lot of original Norman Rockwell.
Really?
Yeah, so there's some beautiful Norman Rockwell pieces in pencil, because he used to do it in pencil at first. So some amazing artwork, sculptures and statues, and a lot of the designs in the house were designed by art department and people that worked on Star Wars. So you would really see designs from, like, for instance, there's a giant chandelier, and you can see the swirls on the edge of it look like Princess Leia's bikini. It doesn't. It's not supposed to look like it, but it's the same guy who designed her bikini. So he put those little swirls in it, and it's like amazing to see. It's not her bikini's hanging there as a chandelier, but you can see like the similarities in a lot of this stuff. He had I saw Charlie Chaplin's original hat and cane.
That's cool.
And a lightsaber, Luke's lightsaber that NASA took into space and let it float in zero gravity.
You're kidding. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That
So
is very
that
cool.
lightsaber was not on this planet.
That's pretty awesome.
I know when you were posting the pictures of it, I was like, oh, Mark gets to go everywhere.
Yeah.
I know.
I went to Disney Springs, Mark said.
I know, right?
Disney Springs is cool too.
Yeah.
I went to like the Outpost.
The co-op.
Yeah, exactly.
But thanks for asking. It was a lot of fun. It's very inspirational. And it's like a real ranch. Like every morning they would bring fresh eggs. I would scramble fresh eggs from Skywalker Ranch. I mean, and it was a very, very zen. It was just awesome to be there and be like, wow, these creative people that created Star Wars and are still working on Star Wars, and people are working on other stories and other movies have been here and have sat under this tree to find inspiration.
That is really good. And then Suzanne says thank you for answering. And everybody loves your stories.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm
I see a lot of
rambling.
comments. I just love listening to him.
I know, they're like awesome. And then Shane said that we need to make you a permanent part 3 co-host to our show. So they're loving it, Mark.
Thanks, Shane.
I knew they would love your stories. So
Stories.
he's got good stories. And you have to figure with how many years you've worked with Disney. I mean, that's a lot of years of stories.
A lot of years of stories. Some I can't share.
Well, we
But
shut off the camera.
Yeah, we'll shut up. Yeah. Where'd Mark Hamill go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Mark Hamill thinks he knows my dad. It's really funny.
Really?
Mark Hamill is very, very friendly, awesome guy. he's like, Mark Daniel. I said, yes. He said, I think I work with your dad. I said, no. I don't think so. He said, yeah, I think so. I think I did. And Mark, talk about stories. Mark Hamill has some amazing stories. And he was like, the first time I met him at Star Wars Celebration, and he was like, yeah, I think I work with your dad. I was like, no, I don't think so. My dad's from Trinidad. He goes, no, I think he worked on set at so-and-so. So now, Mark Hamill thinks he knows my dad, and I just give up.
Just go with it?
Yeah, just go with it.
Well, he was on Daggerwall, wasn't he? Working on
Yeah, he was.
What you should do is be like, yeah, my dad says hi.
Yeah, I
you
should
know?
do that now. Hey, Mark, my dad says hi.
My dad says hi.
My dad says hi.
Photoshop a picture of them together, work on set.
I should work on it. Yeah. My dad's actually Billy D. Williams, so
Okay.
I was just, why not, right?
I know Luke didn't meet to Return the Jedi.
Well,
so-
in all fairness, if he thinks he knows your dad anyway, then you're just going along with it. That's all.
That's true.
Dad says hi.
Yes,
Maybe
I
you're
am.
closer.
Yeah.
Mark wants to go to- no.
Maybe he didn't like my dad, though. I had to be careful.
Yeah.
I thought he was a guy he didn't like.
That
but,
is
but he
true.
liked him.
These
Mark
guys
Hamill
stole my
likes him.
shoes.
Yeah, right? No, Mark Hamill's in. He's got great stories. He's a friendly guy.
So, okay,
I have
so.
a question.
Oh, we have a question?
So no, I do.
Oh, geez.
No, you
No,
can't ask
you
questions.
can't
This
ask
is your show.
questions.
This isn't like winning a prize.
Oh my god. Okay, fine.
No, you've met George Lucas, have you not?
Yes, I have a story.
What was it like meeting George?
He's like, I got a story.
I was 6 feet away from him at Celebration.
Okay.
Last time. He was on stage with Harrison Ford, which to me, that
Oh
was,
my goodness.
that was like the awe moment because
Yeah.
Harrison never does any kind of count.
No.
But they didn't even know he was coming out. I just happened to walk up to the Star Wars live stage and they started moving around and all of a sudden they said,
And he's texting
"Please
me, oh my
welcome
gosh."
George Lucas. And then 2 minutes later, Harrison Ford walked through
Yeah.
the
Oh, wait a
door
minute.
on
So
the
you're
stage.
saying you saw him at the live stage?
Yeah,
That's
he
big.
came down the live,
I
after
thought
he
you
left
meant
the
at
stage where you were upstairs. He came down to the live
He
stage.
walked
and talked.
around people.
Yeah, he did. It was crazy just
He
to
had a
see
media
him that
badge
close.
and he was standing there and I'm
Yeah.
like, here I am from home giving
Yeah.
directions. I'm like, get pictures.
No, so that year I saw George and Mark there, and then at D23 I saw Stan and Mark Hamill.
Yes,
Wow.
we saw that
So-
they were the grand
Yeah.
marshals at D23 that time. It was Mark Hamill in like the little carriage in front, and then behind him was Stan Lee.
Oh, wow.
And that was last summer, well, 2017.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
And then
cool.
I saw George and Harrison at Celebration. So last year I completed my list. Of
Yeah,
like,
yeah, those
Yeah, it
are
was like
big names.
check.
I didn't
check,
actually
check.
meet any of them, but we were
You
there.
were in the same room, man.
We were in the same room.
Close
Yeah.
enough.
We were within feet of each other. So
Yeah, and at a good time too.
it was.
Yeah. This was Celebration 5, I believe, and there was an interview. Jon Stewart was interviewing George Lucas, and I did the warm for that, so everybody was there, and I'm doing it. I'm doing the warm up, and everybody's there, and I meet Dave Filoni for the first time. Another side story. I had no idea who he was. This guy in his cowboy hat, and I didn't know who he was. And I'm doing crowd work. I'm messing with people, and I'm like, look at this guy in his cowboy hat. So the audience starts laughing, and I go, oh, I think they know who he is. And I don't know who this person is, but the audience is laughing. They're kind of laughing at me. So I was like, so I said, I'm going to play with it. So now I know he probably works for Lucas. So I say, what, do you work at a ranch, cowboy hat guy? And he's like, yo. So what do you do, milk the cows? He's like, yo. So anyway, he was real cool. So in the VIP was this beautiful lady, and I saw her, and she was looking at me smiling, and I was like, hi, doing the thing. So after we were done, we're finished. The interview went well. I stayed and watched it because this is, Jon Stewart interviewing George Lucas. So afterwards, I see the same lady backstage. So I don't know. I've never seen her before. And I just went over to talk to her because everybody's kind of standing around. And I said, hey, I just want to say hi. I saw you out in the VIP area, and I'm just saying hi to you. And, and she goes, oh, you were funny, blah, blah, blah. So we get to talk, and that was it. So George Lucas is coming backstage, and Mark Winfrey was the director at the time, and he says, who directed a lot of the Star Wars Weekends shows. He says, he's getting everybody together. Guys, we're getting a crew photo. Everyone. We get one shot with George Lucas and Jon Stewart. Everybody get in. We need to go. Let's do it. Everybody come on now if you want a photo. So I'm talking to her, and they said, Mark, come on over. And I said, oh, I got to go take a picture because one shot we get a picture with George Lucas, and I need to get it. She goes, oh, I'll get you a picture. And I'm like, okay, lady. So I go over. We're all in the group shot. We take it. George Lucas, we all get there waiting because he's going to walk in. He's the busy man. So we're all sitting there waiting just with his spot, just sitting there like, that's George Lucas' spot. Even Jon Stewart's like, okay, yeah, well, he's going to stand right next to me. So we're all waiting. So he comes back. He stands in the spot. We all take the photo. And now he's leaving. So his entourage comes in. And I'm just standing there, and I hear who is now, I'm revealing who he is. I hear Melody say, Mark, come on over here. And I go walking over, and she goes, George, this is Mark. Can you take a picture with him? And I was like, and he goes, okay. And he stands right next to me, and the whole crew, they're just looking at me like, what the? And I'm like,
you're like, hey.
and he had just done Red Tails. And Red Tails was life-changing for me. To do that, he funded with his own money. Red Tails was amazing to learn about Tuskegee Airmen. It was a beautiful film. And I wanted to thank him for it, but I was just like, hey, Red Tails, yeah, because you did all the stuff you did, and so much meant to me. Picture, and I still have the pictures. It's me like this, and then she said, "Oh, okay, thank you, Mark," and she walks off. And I still didn't know who she was until like a week later. They were on Oprah, and they were talking about getting married.
Oh my God!
And I did not know that was his fiance. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, they're married now.
Yeah.
They finally got married.
Yeah.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Talking to somebody.
And every time I see her, I always say hi to her now because it was so cool what she did, you know.
Remember me? I was a guy.
Yeah, I remember that was the guy.
Exactly. Remember?
But that's So that's what it was like meeting him. It was really cool. He's just a very laid back guy. And the one thing I always remember in the interview, he said the amount of people that told him no when he wanted to do Star Wars. And that's it. That's the line. To say, I never gave up. The amount of people that told me no when I wanted to make Star Wars. You could just stop right there. Mm-hmm. What is Star Wars? Yeah. Right? Think about what Star Wars is. Yeah. And then go back and hear him say, the amount of people that told me no when I wanted to do Star Wars. I had to find my own inspiration. Mm-hmm. Now, that's just, wow.
But see, that's really cool though, because you can take that same philosophy, and when if you have something that's big in your heart and in your head that you want to do, and if people tell you no, you take that as inspiration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, I'm gonna find a way to do it.
Find a way to do it. Yeah, I believe in it, and that's why I say you can stop right there because like it's Star Wars.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was a little bit successful.
It was a little bit. Yeah, the first one was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and the thing is that, and he'll always know in the back of his head though, like, you know what, this is something that I was told I can't, but I did, and now look, you know? Sometimes you gotta listen to those little voices.
Yeah.
I would say. That's a great, I told you guys he had good stories. Good stories.
And we're out of time. No,
Thanks for watching.
No, we're good.
Yeah. Meet Up.
All right. So, what else do you think that they would be interested in hearing as far as?
I opened a theme park. That was amazing. I opened Disney's Animal Kingdom.
That's awesome.
I was at that point. I went from the entertainment department to being an equity actor. So all you Disney fans, you know what equity actors are. They're actors at Walt Disney World. From Street Mo to Adventurers Club to Comedy Warehouse to when you go to an event and you see wacky characters walking around. When you go on Main Street, you see the Main Street players and Main Street citizens.
Yes.
You know, when you see Mark Miller walking around as the fire chief, or Mary Thompson Hunt as Missing at the Point, all their funny names. Those are equity actors. So I had the privilege, the honor of being chosen to be one. And I opened Disney's Animal Kingdom, and I worked in Dinoland. Wow. So they had years and years ago. They had Dinoland before they had the Triceratops spin and all those things.
Chester Hester's over there. Yeah.
Yeah. They had Chester and Hester's gift shop. But they had Dinosaur and the Boneyard, but kids couldn't ride Dinosaur. And we had, actually, people don't know this, but when you walk to Dinosaur and you see the giant T-Rex that's Sue, well, that dinosaur wasn't there all the time. That dinosaur was in pieces in a field jacket. And what a field jacket is, when they dig the dinosaur up out of the rock, they wrap it in plaster. And then interns will completely dig the dinosaur out and cast it to make a dinosaur to stand up. So the unique thing about Disney's Animal Kingdom was with McDonald's and I think the Chicago Museum of Natural Museum of History, I believe. They worked together, and you could see paleontologists in a little tent where the Dinorama is now dig out Sue, which was the most complete T-Rex ever found. So you could walk up to a window, and there would be paleontologists in there actually taking out the big leg bone and the tail. And so we were actors there also. as what we call grad students. So the idea was we went to school at the Dino Institute.
Okay.
So we did shows about dinosaurs for kids that were fun. So we had a giant truck that looked like a triceratops. We'd come out, we'd do a game show. So we'd come out and be like, hey, we're the grad students. You and you, come on over. And we'd have a kid on our team and we'd ask questions. And it was a game show and you'd win a little bone pin. And then we had shows about, we had like little areas where they had dinosaur bones and we'd do shows there. Like, you know, little fun shows. And they were comedic, but you would learn about us digging up dinosaur bones and what that took. And then from there, with another friend of mine, Dennis Marsico, we had a tent with dinosaur bones in it. And we would do a tour, a comedic tour about telling you each dinosaur when they lived and what they did and what they ate. And those dinosaur bones now are at the Orlando Science Museum. So when you go to the Orlando Science Museum and you see the dinosaurs, those dinosaurs were given to them from Walt Disney World because they used to be in Dinoland, USA.
The more you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and opening the park was really cool. I remember we were doing our show and Michael Eisner was doing a documentary about the making of Animal Kingdom. That was his baby, Michael Eisner's baby. And that's back when it was about animals that were, animals that are, and animals that never were. And that's why when you go to the front gate, you'll see an elephant skull, you see a dinosaur skull, and you'll see a dragon skull. And I always say they need to change that dragon skull to a banshee skull.
They do. Oh,
They should. I don't know why they don't, but it's still there. And that's because where Pandora was, Camp Mickey Minnie, they were going to do fantastic creatures like dragons.
Yeah, I had heard about that.
The diagrams on some of the park benches.
You'll still see the dragon, yeah.
On the lights, some of the lanterns.
Yep.
The
Something that
silhouette.
never came to be.
Never came to be, yeah. So that's like, that's a little thing. And that's kind of why Pandora kind of fits that of these, a banshee was never was, so.
Yeah, so but people who said that, you know, that Avatar or Pandora didn't really fit, there we had those, you know, those people who said those things. But, you know, the fact that they were going to do something with dragons and such before, so it kind of all worked
It
out.
does fit so much, though. That's the thing, if you think about it. I mean, it's about, Animal Kingdom is about conservation.
Right.
It's about teaching you how to appreciate nature. And what a fun way to do that with a different planet. You know what I mean? It's like crazy. It's like, one thing I like to tell people, when you next time you go to Pandora, small detail, I love it, that's the thing I show people. Look at the trees and the fruits in the trees. They have different stages of decay. The fruits in the trees in Pandora.
I've never noticed that.
Look next time, you'll see like these fruits, and one fruit will be nice and fresh, and the other fruit is dead and like rotting, and the other one is young. It's the same fruit. Because if you go to a tree, all the fruits are not going to be perfect. It's going to be a fruit that's still hanging there that was from last season.
Well, they think of everything,
Yeah.
don't they?
And there'll be a fruit that a bird picked through. You know what I mean? So look at the fruits in Pandora and you'll see different stages of their ripeness.
That's
a Disney detail.
That is interesting. That is very interesting. Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
because
have
there's
to
a
look
fruit
at
that when it ripes, it actually ripens, and the way it pollinates is it explodes and sends its seeds and they stick everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
But you don't have to worry about that.
So everything's gonna fly at you when you go check out the fruit.
But it looks like it. You'll see the fruit like ready to pop, and then you'll see the fruit that has already popped, and they'll put like the little things around on another tree.
And
That-
Alec Williams says, "Mark, how you been, bro?"
What up, Alec?
And then he asked the question, "How many people remember when Mark hosted the American Idol experience?"
Oh, yeah, I remember. That was
Before
fun.
Ryan Seacrest, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, I was warmer post. I opened that show. That show is near and dear to my heart. A lot of people worked very hard on that show. That show, there will never be another show like the American Idol experience at Walt Disney World again. I'll tell you why. It was a show about disappointment on television, but they turned it about hope in the theme parks. We never made fun of people. When you auditioned, Mark Renfro worked hard on making that an experience. Even if you didn't get into the show, we had producers that really sang in the park, that really worked in the music industry, that worked in the parks, that sang for Voices of Liberty, different things like that. They would help you if you didn't sing well. They would tell you, here's what you need to work on. Here's what nobody laughed at you. Nobody made fun of you. You would leave there. The goal was to make you leave there feeling that I can try again, or I did a good job. And no one would ever see that. That was happening in a room with your mom and dad, you, and one producer as you sing. Some people never sang before. To see people win the Dream Ticket, that was a mom that used to sing when she was 20 years old. She had children and never sang before and never thought she could sing again. And she comes on that stage, she makes it, she wins that Dream Ticket, she's got it in her hands, and she's crying because she never thought she would sing in front of the audience again. And that show made so much magic it was a fun show to be a part of, and it was a great show. It was one of the few shows they would come from American Idol and watch what those techs did and say, you guys are doing in a week, in a day, in a show, in 30 minutes, what we do in a day. Mm-hmm. And that is taking the footage from the audition facility and the people auditioning and the packages and bringing it over and then editing it together and then putting it into the show. So when people are singing, and then also while they're singing live, you're capturing footage. So when they're done singing, we can do a playback really quick. And it's a show, and it's a real camera, and it's steady cam and glide cam and cutting, and the stage manager's like, go to shot 1, go to shot 5, go to shot 6. They're crying, this is happening, this is all that stuff. And it was for what Disney's Hollywood Studios at the time was to show you what movies and TV was like. Right. American Idol did that 100%, was the most real TV show that you can get your hands on in the parks at the time. So the regulars that came and loved the show and loved watching it, thank you for doing that, and hope you enjoyed it because it was a labor of love and a really hard show to do and a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I had no idea. I never thought about it.
Yeah, a lot of people worked on that show, and there was 2 different sides of it. There's an audition side that some people never made it into the show, and then there's a show side, and both of those sides work together.
See, it just shows you, to me, that shows Disney magic. That they actually have real producers, real editors, real video guys sitting right there, and we got to make this guest feel special, and we're going to show it just like we would if it was anybody who's on ABC doing the real show.
Yeah.
We're going to make them feel just like that person does when they go up there and sing in front of those celebrities.
Yeah.
And they don't want anyone to walk away feeling bad. They want it to be a good experience.
They wanted it to be a good experience, and that's what a lot of people didn't realize, that there were people on the other side, the audition side, people working very hard that you never saw, that gave an experience that was not part of the show. The experience was, this person wants to sing, they want to give it a shot, they're nervous, they don't think they can do it, they're going into this room to sing for a stranger, and they're doing it, and they might not make it in the show, but they're walking away feeling good.
And see, it's like you don't have. I remember when that show was on and people would ask questions like, "Is there like somebody playing like the Simon Cowell character?" To make you, to kind of.
And that was my job, because that was my job, because we had the 3 archetypes, right? So we had the Randy Jackson, which was the hip judge. We had the Paula Abdul, which was the mother figure. And then we had the mean judge, which is Simon. So judge 1, 2, and 3. So as warm-up host, to allow the Simon judge to be mean, the audience had to be taught to boo and react to what the third judge said. So that was my job as a warm-up. Like, all right, now, if you hear somebody say something, they sang their heart out, and the person's like, oh, that sounded horrible. You got to let them know, you got to boo. And that is what, so, you just sang, and now that third judge is saying something mean. It could be hurtful, but when you hear the audience on your side going, boo, no, then you feel, okay, Right. So, and that's what that was very important, to allow that judge to have fun, to make those snarky remarks and stuff,
And that just blows me away, though, that Disney puts that much emphasis on a guest who's who's paying to go to their park today, that they put all these people, like you said, behind the scenes that never even get seen, are all involved in giving that person that experience that they're never even going to get to say thank you to that person. We just lost. Oh, my camera did.
Oh, are we still good?
Did we lose? I think mine just went to. Is yours still rolling, show?
I got frozen.
The camera's still.
No, we're back. We're back.
Okay, my phone. Sorry.
We're back.
I was just. That just amazed me that Disney. That's just like I've told Michelle before. The magic comes from the cast members. I mean, Disney, hands down. It doesn't matter what buildings or it doesn't matter what else. It's the cast members who do things like that. They give that person that magical moment in the park that they remember that for the next 4 years of their life.
Yeah, and it's not, and another shout out to the cast members that worked there. You had hair and makeup for high definition television, so you had some amazing hair and makeup people that had to do sometimes 3, maybe 5 people within 10 minutes to look ready, and you got theme park people. You know what I mean? When I say theme park people, I mean people hot and sweaty.
Yes.
People like, all right, I started off okay,
yes,
but then I was, then I rode Everest, So and then you need to go through hair and makeup, high definition television. Then you had staging coming through, and they have to choreograph their movement, and then when you're singing, you have to choreograph that because you have a steady camera, and that camera's moving around the person. If you move the wrong way, it's going to slam into you. You had that, so you had all these things happening. So you had like the audition facility, and you had the pre-show area where people getting ready for the show and what they're singing. So it was a big undertaking and a fun thing to be a part of, So yeah, American Idol was an experience, and we would one fun thing was we would get the people from American Idol, the stars, they would come, the winners would come, the people that were runners up, they would come, and they would surprise the guests in the show, and they would be backstage and hear that boom, 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 and they'd be like, I'm nervous, like this is the real thing, like they would be like, it was like. Not to use this reference, but it's like the stars from Harry Potter going to the Wizarding World. Cause they go, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
That's what it was like for the people. They would come and be like, whoa, this is real.
Yeah.
This is the stage. Cause usually they're at a sound stage that can be broken apart very easily. And they would say, wow, this is real. I mean, this is what it's like for real. It's just permanent.
It is, and that show was such a phenomenon, too. I mean, people were hooked. I know I used to be hooked.
Yeah.
But while we're talking about the studios, I thought it would be a perfect segue to talk about this little thing right here, and then tell your Osborne Lights story.
Yeah. So what this is this is celebrating the Spectacle of Dancing Lights from 1995 to 2015, and they had a dinner package when it was closing the last year of it, and so they gave you one of the lights from the Spectacle of Dancing Lights, so you fans of the Spectacle of Dancing Lights. But originally, it was the Osborne Lights, the Osborne family lights. And I actually did the first ever presentation of the Osborne family lights. And this used to happen on what was called the end of New York Street, because it was new. Now it's technically gone. But for a while, before it left, it was called Streets of America. It represented San Francisco. But back then, it was literally New York Street. It was New York Street. Had a subway, and it had the, I think the Chevy building.
Okay.
And that was a landmark back in the day. So it was New York Street. So at the end of New York Street, they had the back lot. And if you took the back lot tour, you would go to the back lot where they had the houses. And we talked about this. Jump in if you remember one. They had the Ernest Saves Christmas house. They had the Golden Girls house. Empty Nest.
Empty Nest, yes. Mm-hmm.
And they had a house that was used in the live action. Alice in Wonderland was a Disney Channel show. And a couple different houses. So they decorated those houses with the lights from the Osborne family. And if you don't know the story of the Osborne family, it was like a family, and for Christmas they would go all out. And they had a mansion, and they would deck it out, and it was like too much for the neighborhood, to the point where like he got on news, people didn't like it, and they didn't want the lights anymore. So Disney was like, you know what? Bring the lights to Disney MGM Studios at the time.
Yep.
And I remember when they actually put the lights up, and what they did too is they tried to make it very close to what the family had.
Okay.
So they brought the family up in a limo and let them see, and when they came out, they got to see, because they didn't let them see it, and they got to see that we did it just like you did in your neighborhood.
That's
Look
awesome.
at it, So I got to be a part of that and see then when they came out and see the actual what Disney did, and then from there it grew and grew and grew, and then became the Spectacle of Dancing Lights.
Yeah, we got a lot of people that miss the Osborne Lights. Everybody's commenting about that.
Side story too, at Disney's MGM Studios. A lot of people don't know this. There used to be a farm at Disney at Magic Kingdom, but also if you took the backlot tour, there used to be a little farm, and you would see a cow. And that cow was from City Slickers.
Really?
It was the calf that they gave that was born in City Slickers. They kept that calf, and they became a giant cow, and they lived at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Back in the day, it was Disney MGM Studios. I remember there'd be one cow. And it was the cow from City Slickers. Yeah,
so,
one lone cow.
Michelle Perkins wants to know if you miss the Osborne Lights.
Yes, I do. I miss the Osborne Lights. I do. It was fun. I missed going through it on the back lot, sitting down. And I also missed the first, when it was on New York Street, they had a really cool thing where you could actually walk through New York Street, and when they had it all over New York Street, but they would sell chestnuts and pound cake drizzled with maple syrup.
Oh, wow.
And it was amazing. But it was still not as popular, so you could actually hang out. But towards the end, it was so popular, like you literally could not. You had to walk through and leave. But it used to be something that you could actually hang out. I do miss it. But there's so much more holiday stuff now, and I'll probably forget about it when I pilot the Millennium Falcon.
You know what's funny though is that we're talking about the Osborne Lights and how you got to partake in that. And what's funny for us, because we know you and we hear your voice, is even the boys, because they see, they watch you too, but you hear you as the announcing Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam.
Yeah, what'd you say? Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam.
I know. I said it wrong.
Right yourself.
I know. Sorry.
Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam.
But it's funny because we know you, we hear you, and we're like, oh, there's Mark.
Oh, that's awesome.
I remember the first year when it first launched, because we were there for the first night to record it.
Yeah.
And it started playing. That's Mark. And she goes, is it? And I texted you. I think right there.
Is that Mark? I'm like, yeah, it's Mark.
Go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's cool that how you got to work on the old Christmas.
Yeah.
And then now you get to, you got to do something for that. And I think a lot of people, our audience, and I love you guys because I feel the same. A lot of the feedback that I get from them is that a lot of Disney fans they are nostalgic. Mm-hmm. They miss things. It's hard to change.
Yeah.
So, and I think as far as the Christmas stuff goes, Osborne Lights was a heartbreaker for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It really was.
It was a thing. And Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam pays a little tribute to it. It does in the beginning. They put the lights on everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it pays a little tribute to it.
A little bit. And and I don't know, maybe you can answer this or maybe you can't. Mm-hmm. But
you get me in trouble.
If you can't, just elbow me. Okay, so because for the first year, I see little changes because we live here and because we cover events for Disney. We go to things all the time, and maybe somebody else who is just a visitor wouldn't notice. But I thought I noticed changes in Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam this year. It seems more elaborate. There's more like lasers in the snow. I know that the
Pyro.
There's like the pyrotechnics, and it seems like they made it better this year.
You know what? I haven't seen it this year yet. But I would say I know for a fact Disney's all about adding.
Okay.
So, and especially because it comes back every year, I think you are right what you see. I think they would. And as projections and fireworks are always pushing the envelope and getting better, I think if they get something cool, it's, this would be nice. I think, and Tom is all about that. Okay. Tom is the director, Tom Vazzano. And he's all about looking at what's cutting edge and keeping people coming back for fans like you guys. Yes. So you watch Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam again and go, oh, I didn't see this. And I'm sure they're probably looking to adding more video, different things like that. So definitely yes, and I think they do add things and they don't announce it. It's just for people to go, oh, wait a minute. That's different.
Yeah. It is different. And like I said, for us, our job is to cover these things and to pay attention and try to enjoy it at the same time. But I know for like the first year for Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, that people were like, it's not the Osborne Lights.
Yeah.
But it's like in the past couple of years, to me it's even better.
Yeah.
They've done a really good job, and I
remember when because what I get the privilege of, like, I'll be in the recording booth and then Tom Vazzano's in there, and I don't know the show. The show doesn't exist yet to me. Right. And Tom will be like, okay, Mark, here's the idea, all right? And if you notice, the decorations at Disney's Hollywood Studios are very 50s. You notice that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's like, here's the idea. It's like Wolfman Jack, all right? And I want to remember the 50s nostalgia, and I want people to be excited, and that's what he wanted. He said that one thing he wanted, because he said, I can't go up against the Osborne, the Spectacle Dancing Lights. So what I want is I want people to sing. I want them to dance. I want them to have fun, And that's what he said. That's the energy. That's why I want Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. I wanted to say it a certain way. I wanted it to be a thing. And he was very adamant. He was very passionate about that. And he really wanted people to sing. He's like, the reason I do it this way, when you start, I want everyone singing. If you can't sing, I don't care. I want it bouncing. Bounce the ball. Let them see it. Sing. And at the end, I remember he said, I want the tree to stay up because I want people to come back and take photos. Yes. I want the show to be done, but you can still be here and you can still take photos. It's something else. And it's kind of like the Osborne Lights because you can take photos. And it's not ended.
They got the snow.
Snow falling on and everything. So he was very passionate about trying to bring the energy, some of the energy from the Osborne Spectacle Dancing Lights and the nostalgia and what people liked about it into his new show.
See, and I think that's important because, like I said, with Disney fans not liking change, but what they didn't understand at the time is that change was necessary because of Toy Story Land, because of Galaxy's Edge, because they have to.
Well, and the big thing is like, it's a catch-22. It's a happy medium because change is what makes better attractions.
Right.
And also nostalgia. Some things stay and they never go anywhere. but Walt was always about changing. He's
Right.
always about what's next. How do we push the envelope?
Right, and everybody's agreeing with that too. And that's what I always tell people, because sometimes, like what we do, we put out the news and then people come at us like, how could you let that happen?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I'm just telling you what's happening.
Yeah.
But like Walt, like you said, Walt was all about moving forward,
Yeah.
and I think
And
that
building on it.
yes, and I think because you can attest, there's great things coming.
Yeah.
So, and not just flipping robots.
Not just flipping A1000s.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if something could not go anywhere, I would bring back Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
I was just going to ask you, that was a question for
Okay.
Corey.
Okay, Corey, what's up, Corey?
know if you could bring back any attraction, what would it be? Would it be Mr. Toad's?
It would be Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I used to get in that thing. I was obnoxious. People didn't used to like to ride it with me. I would get in there and act like I was really driving and really reacting to what was happening. I'd be like, oh! I would scream. I got killed by the train. I would lay down. It was immersive for me. That was like immersive. Like and I love the Wind in the Willows. I love that. The one that's before Headless Horseman. And he's my favorite character, Mr. Toad. He's a frog in a suit. Come on, people.
So when you go to Disneyland, I take it you definitely go see Mr.
Toad
Toad.
Manor, man.
Oh, yeah.
I take so many pictures in there. Toad Hall is Toad Hall. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So
see, and this
I would bring back
generation is missing out. Like when I was a kid, that was one of the popular rides, and if you don't go to Disneyland, you don't know about it.
If we had Mrs. Toad's Wild Ride, we wouldn't have a problem with texting and driving. You would see how dangerous it would be.
This is a PSA also.
That's right.
You must pay attention while driving.
Okay, so that's funny. All right, so okay, so everybody's agreeing with you that everybody likes Mr. Toad as well. So
Mr. Toad and Magic Journeys at Magic Kingdom.
Yes. Okay, so do we want to talk a little bit about the Christmas parade special?
Let's do it.
All right. So, if you guys you've followed the past how many years since we've lived here, Mark is always on hand for the parade tapings for the holiday specials. And he was nice enough 2 years ago to come out and say hi to some of our group at the Meet Up at the Magic Kingdom. And he's always on hand for these sorts of things. And we get a lot of people asking questions of what.
And you don't see Mark when you watch it on TV.
That's right.
If I do my job right, you'll never see me.
Right. He keeps the crowd and everything moving along as it's being as it's happening, the filming and stuff. And what a lot of people don't realize, and which I didn't realize, is how much work goes into these holiday specials, the parades, what you see on Christmas or Thanksgiving is this big, beautiful, magical production, but when it's actually happening, it's so different.
Yes.
So I don't know how much you can talk about.
Well, so the parade, the holiday special consists of, and for the last 2 years we did something a little unique, and we did it this year again, where we had a whole different special, which we did on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So what we would do, we'd shoot that in early November, and we would shoot both. So we'd have an audience come in, and they would be there as a live audience for the performances. Or we'd have audiences come in for the parade. So my job is to keep the audiences entertained and let them know what's happening. But what I like to do is always like to let the audience know what's happening. Sometimes you don't know what's happening because there's not somebody like me to tell you. And I feel like when the audience knows what's happening, they know they're part of the show. I can say, look, we're working on blocking right now. It's going to be a while. Or they're filming backstage. It's the teaser and they're talking, so we got to be quiet. And people enjoy that. So my job is to entertain the crowd and keep them camera ready for when it's time. So the performances will come out, and they need the shots of the audiences reacting and having a good time. So when you see those shots, you see the performer, you see the camera from the back, and the people are waving and cheering. We have to coordinate that because people won't do that naturally, and it's also hot.
This is true. Yes, we can test.
But you can't look hot on Christmas Day.
No.
So there's a lot of that stuff. So it's a lot of me, which is a lot of fun, entertaining people between takes. And also telling them, okay, guys, we need you to sway on this one. Don't sing along to this one. Don't clap because clapping it's picking up the clapping, or it's not on the right rhythm and different things like that. So I'm listening to the director as he gives me direction for the audience. And then we also feature the audience. So I'll turn it to the audience. But the way it works is that it's the performer will come out and do a rehearsal, and then do another rehearsal, and then do a couple of different performances, and they do different shots. So they'll have a camera on stage with the performer, and then cameras in the crowd with the performer, and different things like that. And then we'll turn the camera to the audience, and the audience will react. But most of the time, the performer's now gone, and we'll play the recording of the performer, and then I become the performer, and I stand on stage and do what they did, and then the audience looks at me, and I can tell them more sharing, less sharing, and all those different types of things. So it's a lot of fun, and then in the downtime I might do trivia and just play with people, interview people, meet people, take photos, or just have fun. Because there's a lot of downtime too, where they change the stage. There might be a singer that's singing with a full band, so they got to bring out a full band, or they might have dancers, and they need to rehearse. Because a lot of times it's the first time they're on that stage, because that stage is built specifically for those performances, and it wasn't there the day before, because we try not to disrupt what we call daily operations. So on that day, for those days, they might not have Castle Show, and then they will extend the stage, and that's the only time the performers are on the stage at that point. So there's a lot of rehearsals that's needed. And it's a good time to see like some fun characters you've never seen before. They'll do a lot of surprises like that.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. Like we had talked about before we started. I know a lot of you that ask questions as far as how these things come to be. And before we moved here, I had no idea either of how much downtime, like you had said. And or how like you see that when you see the performers on stage and you see the audience in their red Mickey ears and their Christmas stuff, that's actually it's two separate takes.
And like a lot of times too, it will be hot. You have to wear certain outfits because it's like Disney. So there's a look of Disney guests for television, and that is, which is very interesting. It's in Florida, but they don't want you to look hot. Exactly. If you ever see a commercial for Disney, you hear that people don't dress like that.
No.
They're going to be wearing like this, Yeah. It's like to look like the temperature's perfect. So there's that. There's like if you have your hat, they'll be like, okay, we like this hat, or or the look we're going for is this performer is doing this, and we want to match, so we'll pass out hats. One year it rained, and a lot of people don't know this. So in movies, and people know this, like if the camera can't see rain, if it's a certain type of rain, a certain amount of rain. So if you see rain in the movies, it's a lot of rain. So it was drizzling, but the camera was not picking up the rain. So my job was to tell people, I think you guys are there.
We were there.
So you were there. So when we're not filming, hold your umbrellas up, because we want your hats to get wilted, or your Mickey hats to the fur to get all wet. So hold your umbrellas up. And now we're about to shoot. Everyone, hide your umbrellas, dry your face, put your ponchos away, and don't look like you're wet.
No.
And everybody's like, and they were committed. You guys were doing it. And everybody's like,
exactly. And we were subbed. I remember that day. I can't remember her name. It was the little girl that sang "Let It Go."
Oh, she was on. She was a YouTube sensation.
Yeah.
Little girl, but this little girl was soaked.
Yeah, she was amazing too, right?
And they kept trying to pat her, and she had the curls in her hair, and they kept trying to refluff her.
Yes.
And then they had like all of us, we're standing there like, okay, put your umbrellas away, and it's not raining. And they kept saying, it's not raining.
It's Christmas morning, and it's not raining.
It's not raining.
There was 2 inches of water. Props to the techs and custodial. Literally, what I had to do too. 2 inches of water on the stage. Go to the audience. 4 steps back. 1, 2, 3, 4. They would squeegee the stage, throw the water off the stage, and it would just be like a waterfall just going swoosh, swoosh. And then they would dry it, and I said, okay, audience, 4 feet up. And they come back up, and then we would do it. And it was crazy. And I remember the little girl, I forget her name, but a lot of the performers, a lot of the professional performers, they were like, it's too wet. And this little girl came out and killed it. She did. Walked right out, sang her song, and was.
She actually, I remember they had her.
In the rain.
In the rain.
Because when it wasn't filming, she was shivering.
Poor thing.
They had umbrellas around her. They put a blanket over her.
They did. They tried their best, and she had to shoot the end part of the song a couple of times, and she did a great job.
She was amazing.
But it just goes to show you, because I didn't understand at the time. I was that was my first time doing that, and they kept saying it's not raining. You guys aren't wet. It's your everything's great. And I remember my hairspray running into my eyes because I was so wet, and I was just like. I cannot believe that this is how they do this.
Yeah.
And then I was another like on the flip side of that, which we talked about before. I think it was the following year. It was so hot. I mean, it was in the 90s, and you know, you were reminding people to drink water because but they're telling people, okay, you're not hot. But we're really hot in front of the stage.
It's like, I'd ask them, are you hot? You had to say no. And what day is it? Christmas Day. And there's people, hey, Christmas Day.
And they're melting, like right in front of you.
That's the year David Foster was there. It was so hot. We were on there and I kept telling people, drink water, go drink water. They brought water for sale. We were trying to allow people to go and get water for their friends and everything. It was so hot. And David Foster said, Disney should get them free water. And I said, I can't say that, David. But then Disney did. Disney came and they came to me and said, Mark, we're going to give everyone that's here a bottle of water. But we don't need pandemonium. How can you do this? And I said, well, I'm going to promise that they will all get one and just pass it back. And when the back row has it, just don't take it anymore and just start stopping. Mm-hmm. And I got you guys saw it just quiet. People were just literally just quietly just going.
They just wanted the water. They didn't even care. And that was, I remember they passed out pom-poms that year too. So there was the red and green pom-poms in there and everybody's, passing water. And I think everybody was just in the same boat with how hot it was and miserable and nobody wanted anyone else to get sick. Yeah. And it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. It was great. And then, so we all signed thank you to David Foster on like 6 bottles and gave it to him.
And they were telling people to tweet thank you, David Foster on Twitter.
We were doing that, yeah. And then we went viral that year. So what happened was David Foster would stay out there and play on the piano. Seal performed, okay? And he knuckle bumped me, okay? This knuckle right there.
You haven't watched it since.
I know. Woo, boy. And I've done some shows. But he would stay out and play, which was great for me because if the performer is like entertaining the crowd, I can relax, because that's what they want to see. So he'd stay out there and play. And what he was doing, he was walking around. He would say, "Okay, who wants to sing for me?" And there was a guy, very shy guy. And I remember I talked to him before, and he kind of raised his hand and he said, "Okay." And this guy came out and sang a David Foster song. He was amazing. And I filmed it for him. He was on stage and he's singing this song. And I filmed it. It went viral, and that guy was so good. He got a job in Japan. He worked in Tokyo Disney as a singer.
Because I remember the song that he sang, the David Foster song. It was Josh Groban did a cover, and I can't remember.
Italian, wasn't it?
Yeah,
part of it was a part of Italian. Because I was like, I know that song.
Oh yeah.
And it was like I was there for that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He killed it.
He did kill it because everybody gasped.
Yeah.
They were like,
everybody thought he was a plant. Like I was telling people, like I saw the guy before. He was dressed as Peter Pan, and I was kind of talking to him. He was very shy, and people were like, "He a plant." I said, "That guy, I know he's not a plant. I was talking to him before David Foster came out here with no plans."
No, he killed it. Even David, because I know when David got done playing, I saw David get up and went over and shake the guy's hand.
Went over and talked to him.
Business card.
Mm-hmm.
Right
yeah, because
like,
it was amazing.
You're good.
And David Foster is music royalty. Mm-hmm. He's music royalty.
And I remember the guy saying after the fact, like my whole life is made that I got to sing for David Foster. Yeah. I mean, it's just another one of those ways that Disney.
Yeah, how often do you get a piano being played by David Foster while you sing his song?
His songs.
Yeah.
At Disney.
On the stage.
Seriously, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
For that person.
Yeah, it went viral.
I remember that. I feel like I'm like, oh yeah, I was there too. I'm like,
yeah, you were there for some good stuff.
I was there for some good stuff. No, okay, I remember this one too. When there was a major lull in the crowd, and it was the one that we talked about with Frozen, with the whole thing with the Elsa freezing Main Street, and there was a big delay. And you were looking for people in their pajamas to do a pajama parade up down Main Street.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did. Yes. Okay, so this is what we're doing. This is the day we're doing, like, one of my favorite days is the parade day. Because, we're now on the street. And, just people lining up, waiting to see the parade come down. And so I said, ooh, I know what we'll do. We'll do a tacky pajama parade. So I got people with the tackiest pajamas. But then people started pointing at people. And I said, no, you can't pick someone. That's embarrassing because they might not think they're tacky.
Exactly.
Look at this.
Look at real tacky.
This one. That's tacky. Like, wait a minute. I'm not even dressed.
I'm not even supposed to be tacky, but okay.
Yeah, so we did the first tacky pajama parade. That was a lot of fun.
I remember that
Marched
too.
down Main Street.
Yeah.
And that's the things I love doing, man. I love the Disney audience. I love people that are waiting to see a show and I just come out and have fun with them. Mm-hmm. It's just this one of my favorite things to do is the Christmas parade filming. I was a little disappointed this year because the parade is going to be at Disneyland this year, so we didn't have the parade. And I did it, and I also did the Christmas filming a long time ago. And Billy Flanagan he was the original warm-up host, and I did it with him. But that's when it was live. That's when it was Regis and Kelly would do it, and we would stop for commercials and stuff. And it used to actually happen on Christmas Day. But now because of weather and different things like that, and then they could make it, like you said, make it perfect.
Yep.
To present this.
And they're able to use different parks for different scenes in the whole.
Yeah, and they could have more of a storyline.
And now they do it from all the different locations as well. I can't, way back, somebody asked, I don't remember who it was. Somebody had asked if you actually watch the specials on TV after when they air.
I do, but I watch it different. It's so funny. Like, I will watch it, and when I see the audience clips, I know who the people are, and I remember moments. I'm like, oh, they made it. Oh, that's right. He stayed there all day. Glad he got there. Oh, that's cool. So I do, and it's but I watch it, and it's fun for me. And last year they gave me I got to be on ABC and say, oh, it's tonight, and we're getting ready to shoot. And I got to say a couple things with a little ABC logo, and I pointed to the crowd. They went in. It was really cool.
That is
so Juliana Huff, and I got to be a part of it. So they gave me some love. And this year, Inside Disney Parks, this episode, Erica directed it, and she gave me a little shout out, and we actually go behind the scenes of what I do for the parade. So the next episode of Inside Disney Parks will feature a little segment showing me what I do.
Pay attention. And when is that going to be on?
It should air this week, so I'll share it with you guys.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, we'll let you know when that is going to be. So, I wanted to make sure that we talked about the parade thing because that is when we had got to see you in action firsthand and how sometimes it's hot or it's raining or it's this and that, and you do such a good job keeping people happy on times that they don't sometimes everyone thinks it's all fun and games for these productions, and it's not. I didn't realize that. I don't hope I can say that, but when they do the floats, how it looks like the floats are continuously moving. They're not. Yeah. No.
It's so. There's so much that goes into it, and it's so intricate, and everything has to be just right. Like for instance, when it was raining, but you couldn't see if a raindrop would hit the lens, they couldn't use it. And so but it's very the floats coming. It's like these angles, and this camera's coming down this way, and you got the director watching and going, okay, this shot is good, and I like this shot. So there's so much that goes into it. And that's why I work really hard because I know it's not easy, and the people don't know what they're getting into. They don't know that you got to be there probably 6 hours.
Yeah.
And we're gonna stop for a while, and people are, you guys got good spots, and maybe the next performance somebody you want to see.
Right.
And if you leave, that spot's gone.
That's right, and it is gone. You don't move.
Yeah.
You
So there's
there.
people that stay in the front row, like Ariana Grande, she's performing at 6, and these people are there at 11.
Yep.
And they're in the front row, and they're not going to leave. And I'm like, go drink some water, please.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving.
I remember we had stuff in our backpacks. So
we put
Smart.
stuff in our backpacks because we knew at that point it had been, we had already done it and knew that if you're going to be in it for the long haul, you have to make sure you're prepared. One
thing I like to do too is I like to make a little bit of magic. I have the luxury of being able to speak to the performers and celebrities and stuff. And I know the celebrities are tired. They don't know where they are a lot of times. They just literally came here, sit, sing, go, bye. But sometimes if there's some downtime, and I talk to the audience, and a lot of times it's happened. I'll see somebody like, oh, I love Jordan Fisher. Really? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I follow him, and one time I need this, and he inspired me to do this and this and this and this, and I go, okay, cool, all right. And it's a great story. And I talk backstage to Jordan Fisher, and so when he comes out and I see that he's chilling and he's open, I say, hey, Jordan, I just spoke to Scott. Scott told me that he's like one of your huge fans. And then Jordan will say, oh, what's up, Scott? And then have this conversation, and I just back off, and the magic happens. You know what I mean? And I like doing it. I just walk around and just like while I'm on break, I just kind of look for little stories. And they don't know what I'm going to do.
No.
And then when they come out, I'll just be like, oh, you know what? Because Becky G performed this year, and I didn't know who she was. She was a celebrity, a YouTube sensation. She's an actress now, huge, but I didn't know who she was. So this young girl was telling me about it. She goes, I love Becky G, so why? So because there was nothing going on, I literally interviewed this girl. I said, okay, we got a Becky G expert. Tell us about Becky G. Why do you like it? She said, she's Mexican like me. She's inspired me. She's a hard worker. And I said, well, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Right.
So when Becky G came out, she was on break. I said, hey, Becky, I just spoke to your biggest fan. She's like, really? I said, she told me all about you. And then she came off stage at the end and hugged her. And the girl was crying. And I was like, magic happened.
I remember when David Foster's year, Jason Derulo was singing. And I don't know if you were behind it or the producers, but somebody proposed on stage.
There was a proposal that year, too.
The guy brought his girlfriend on stage. They were sitting there on stage during the song. Jason was singing, but then Jason turned to them. And he proposed during Jason's song, which obviously wasn't going to be on TV. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a big one. That was set up because that was a side story they were telling. Okay. Yeah, so that was actually part of the
that was all part of the show.
Part of the show. She didn't know though.
Okay.
She didn't know.
Okay.
She didn't know
about that.
Yeah, she didn't know, but it was set up to be a surprise in the show as another little side story. Yeah.
You remember everything. I forgot all about that.
I forgot about it too.
I was like, that's right. No, because I remember
because they wouldn't tell me. That's right. They were like, they said, oh, there's a proposal on stage. I said, what? They said, don't forget it. And I was like, what? They said, forget it. Just because you're gonna accidentally say something, forget it. And I was like, okay. They're like, just people come in.
I can tell you all something, but there's a proposal on my head.
Like what?
Somebody's getting mad. But for real, the AD was like, forget what I said. Don't even think about it. And I'm like, okay, because you're going to say something.
Right, and you don't want to whoops. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you hype the crowd up like, in a little bit, Jason Derulo's going to be out here in 20 minutes. You guys ready for Jason? Or Charlie Puth. Charlie Puth is coming to the stage.
Because I was just, and like I said, I like to tell the audience what's happening. I feel they tend to be more forgiving when they know what's happening instead of saying, I don't know what's happening.
Well, no, because I mean, when you're standing out there for hours, I mean, as being on our end, you know, when we're watching, we're trying to cover for stuff. I think you know, they appreciate knowing what's going on, or like how much longer are we going to be standing here, or what's going on?
Do I have time to run and go get something?
Do I have time to run to the bathroom?
And I think it's fair. I think it's fair because they're out there so long. It's just fair to know.
It does take a long time. So anybody who watches these specials, I'm sure that you know is a lot of work, but there's so much that goes
30
into
minutes
it.
takes 3 days.
It's quite,
quite
a production, and it doesn't rain even when it rains,
nope.
and you're not hot even when it's hot.
Nope.
You have to.
You might want to bring up Mark's partner statue.
Oh, yes. Okay, we'll do that too. Okay.
Past the time, I don't want to miss out on that.
So let's talk about this now.
So I brought this. These are the two things that I wanted because I know you guys have some cool things on display. I also brought my partner statue. I am a Partners in Excellence and a Legacy award. So that was something that used to only happen, I think, at a few theme parks around the world. But Disney wanted to make it global.
Okay.
So not everybody had the Partners Award. So they moved from the Partners Award to the Legacy Award. So the Legacy Award, that means you create, dream, and inspire people around you like Walt did. Okay. So I'm also a Legacy winner. But but I love the partner statue because one, it's at different theme parks and different Disney locations, but it's also at the Magic Kingdom. Mm-hmm. And it's just really cool to have the partner statue. And on his little tie, you can't see it, but he's got the STR. You know, you ever see the partner statue and you look at his tie?
Yes.
And have you ever noticed his initials in it?
Why do I not? I know the story. Refresh.
Yeah. So the story is, if fans don't know, it's STR. That's Smoke Tree Ranch, and Walt had a vacation home there in Palm Springs, California, and that's like on his little tie. It's too small to see it on here, but I like having it's cool to have the statue in my house because I love that statue. It's a really unique statue.
And that is pretty amazing. And yes, that's why we stopped for a second, only a second.
Yeah.
It's storming outside here in Orlando. That is why, yeah.
At least my screen did. That's still running.
Yeah, that's still running. It just had a little hiccup because we have weather tonight.
Yeah. But it's not raining. It's not raining.
It's not. It's not.
Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day.
On ABC.
On ABC. So before we wrap our little talk up, is there anything that you want to talk about? Any special Disney memories? Anything you got going on? Anything? Floor is yours.
Wow, floor is mine for
Floor
anything,
is
man.
yours.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. This has been fantastic, Michelle Scott. Thanks for having me. Great questions, guys. Give me another question.
Okay.
How's that?
Another question?
You know,
Look at that. Mark
while I
wants
think.
another
So
I kind
much.
of put you on the spot. I'm like, what do you?
No,
you know?
there's so much. I had a great time. I did. What did I just? I was a part of D23 Destination D for the first time. I got to set up the photo with Bob Chapek and Mickey Mouse for Share Your Ears, which is an amazing charity event that Disney's doing, and I was able to moderate the panel with Mark and Scott Whitman, Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman, who are they're the musical team behind Mary Poppins Returns.
Yes.
And wow, what stories, what fun, what inspiration to hear them talk. So that was a lot of fun. So D23 was a lot of fun.
I have people keep telling me to mention Chucky to you. Why is that?
I saw
Chucky.
Stinky D also.
Yeah.
Stinky D, okay. Okay. Stinky D, and that's somebody who knows me from a long time ago. That's my nickname. That's my rap nickname.
Your rap nickname?
We're a fake rap group. This is a long time ago.
I've seen that video.
Yeah. We're a fake rap group walking around Disney's Hollywood Studios. And they used to be, where Pizza Planet was, quick story, where Pizza Planet was used to be a museum. In that museum, they had the dummies from Indiana Jones and which is the one where he cut the rope and all the people fell into the alligator. Is that Temple of Doom?
Yeah, it was Temple.
Temple of Doom?
Temple of Doom, yeah.
He
Which is the
hanging
first
off
one
the
I
bridge,
saw.
yeah.
Yeah, hanging off the bridge. So he cut the rope. Those dummies were in there, and they had half of the bridge, and they had different props from movies in that little museum. So we were in there doing a fake interview, acting like real rappers back in the 90s, and just messing around. And then people thought we were real rappers, and we were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna film our rap video on New York Street," and we signed autographs as these rappers, and my rap name at the last second was Stinky D. So then it stuck, and people would just call me Stinky. So whoever said Stinky D knows me from back then.
See?
So if somebody calls me Stinky, I know that they know me and I know them.
But how cool is that people follow from all of that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, those are such good memories.
Chucky is probably because at Halloween, I have a Chucky doll.
Okay.
And at Halloween, I put Chucky because in the first movie, there's a scene where he jumps out at somebody in the backseat of a car.
Okay, I saw you post that online
Yes,
too.
so
Okay, I'm with you guys now.
He holds on to my headrest, and he's in the back. And he scares me sometimes, but it's worth it for me to pull up to cars and they look and they're like, "Oh, man, you got Chucky in your car." So that's probably what they're talking about.
Okay, yeah, that's probably it. Because, yeah, that's that. Because they kept saying, hey, ask him about Chucky. And I remember seeing your post on, so yeah, I remember now. Now I got you.
The lady who was on the UK, Lynn, she was only going to jump on for a minute. She's still on. She said, I need to go. I need to get to bed because I don't know what time it is.
Go to bed,
Go to bed. Thank
I'm
you
not going
so
to be with you
much.
at work tomorrow. I don't know what you do for a living. Maybe you need to be awake. Please
She's
go
a
to
brain
bed.
surgeon. So.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
you can always replay tomorrow, Lynn.
Yeah.
I appreciate you
And somebody
staying up
did ask,
there.
are you hosting the live feed tomorrow?
I am, yes. So the live feed tomorrow is, for the first time ever, we're going to live stream the Candlelight Processional. And of course, Neil Patrick Harris, who is a crowd favorite. Neil Patrick Harris. Oh, you need to go back and watch some of his openings for the Christmas specials. I mean, he did one, and he loves cast members. And he did one dedicated to the cast members where he's walking through all the parks. What an amazing opening number. I recommend checking it out. But yeah, we're going to host, we're going to live stream. We got the rights. I'm not sure yet. The reason, so I can say this, sometimes when we live stream, we cannot replay it because we don't have the rights to the music.
Okay.
So we can't replay it. I think we did it. I think we got the rights to it. So if you don't tune in and you can't, you can look on Twitter and it'll say that we'll have a replay. But we might be able to replay it again. And this is the Diamond Jubilee. This is the Diamond celebration of the Candlelight Processional. Walt created it. He started it at Disneyland. Neil Patrick Harris is doing it. He's a crowd favorite. Whoopi's going to be doing it. I love Whoopi. But this one that we're streaming is Neil Patrick Harris. And we're going to live stream it. It's the first time ever. So it's going to be exciting if you can't be there. And it's sold out. I mean, this is a big thing, especially when it's NPH.
I can confirm the replay because they told us that one day for a media event that it will be replayed. I think they said for 30 days.
Okay.
It's either 20 or 30 days. They will
And
be
then
able to
Disney
replay.
reminded us, they sent us the link. So
I'll have it tomorrow.
you guys, Disney did send us the link for the live feed. So you'll be able to watch Mark
We'll share it.
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Watch
and
me.
then Neil Patrick Harris.
I'm also the backup narrator, so if anything goes wrong, it's Krista Abbott Scott. Krista Abbott, I'll call it that. She, if you know Voice of Celebrity, you know her. She's an amazing singer. So her and I are the backup celebrities. So if it's if something happens and there is the celebrity can't do it, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna be disappointed.
No,
Mark, bro.
Where's
no.
Right?
And
But I tell you, let me tell you something. Forrest directs it. Forrest, he's been with Disney 40 years, show director. Forrest Baruth. And he told me, Mark, he said, Mark, you're going to be at the best seat in the house. It's emotional. I want to let you know it's emotional. Let it happen. And I was like, what?
What?
And he's like, Mark, I'm telling you. I was like, okay, whatever. So I go up there and, oh, okay. And I'm like, and the Lord said to Mary and blah, 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 and the chosen one. And she was questioning the question. You can do it. You'll have birth of a child, and the child will be Jesus. And then they start singing. And then the orchestra, and you see the conductor, and you're right in the middle, and like Voices of Liberty are right here, and the cast choir is right up here, and you got the schools on the side, and that music just swells around, and I was just like, I mean, it was emotionally moving. It's the best seat in the house, except for the conductor. I mean, it's 360. It's like, and the Voices of Liberty hitting and the songs are the right songs, and I mean, it's spiritual, man.
Oh yeah.
I was just like. And when it was done, I'd be like, yeah. Anyway, I mean, it was amazing. So I can't. If I ever get to do it, I wish no ill on anyone. I just like being there the first night for rehearsal and being part of it. But if I ever get to do it, it'll be a dream to sit there.
I saw Alfonso Rivera last Monday, his first time ever doing the 5:15 show or whatever. He was emotional, but he was also up there and he was tapping his fingers and he's getting into the beat and everything.
Well, you get into it, yeah.
He was really into it. I was watching him. I started watching him and I was watching the sign language performer do it. But I was like enthralled with watching them and how much they were really enjoying it. They just weren't there. They were actually part of the whole.
You can't help it. You got to be part of it because
Yeah,
it's just
fantastic.
so moving. It's just so.
No, somebody, one of my Disneyland friends posted, Chris Pratt did the one in Disneyland.
Oh, really?
I want to say yesterday or the day before
wow.
yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I know, right?
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
And TJ Fernandez.
Yeah, TJ, what's up, TJ?
He said, "You're not a backup, brother. You're the
You're
main
the
act.
star.
Lay it on for life."
There you
TJ,
go.
what's up, man?
We have a lot of Mark fans on our
They
show
did.
tonight.
They did a lot of them.
Thanks for watching, TJ. He's in Massachusetts.
It was Alex
Wait.
who he said he shared with all his Disney groups too, so they could even see him more.
Yeah, so, and we appreciate you sharing this.
Yes, we do.
feed
Come back
because
next week.
this
Mark
is
won't be here,
great.
but
Yeah.
I'll be back in the spot. So unless you guys put up a fight and get Mark back, then
Yeah, we can get him to come back another
I'll stay
time.
behind the camera for Mark.
But so yeah, you'll have to definitely watch Mark on the live feed tomorrow. And where else can they find you if they want to follow you?
All right, follow me on my Twitter is LOL4 Mark Daniel. So my Twitter feed. I'm on Instagram LOL4 Mark Daniel, and LOL is Laugh Out Loud for Life. My little bracelets here is Laugh Out Loud for Life because I really believe positive laughter helps you live longer. So that's my little thing, LOL. I know in England it's lots of love, Martin. So yeah, so on Twitter, Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, Mark M. Daniel. But my Instagram and stuff will link. And on YouTube, I do a lot of YouTube videos. Do a lot of funny things, a lot of crazy stuff. And that is, again, LOL4 Mark Daniel, the number 4. LOL.
I4 construction videos are great.
My I4
Your
construction
I4
video
I4
is
videos.
therapy for me. I try to keep up with it, but you can go back and look at some really fun stuff. I do like with Mark Daniel, where I just do random stuff. My I4 videos. I have a BB-8. I do stuff, and I also love characters. So I'll selfie film, and I'll mess with characters, and they'll play with me and stuff. So. So a lot of crazy stuff, and it's all fun stuff, just for you to look. If you're having a tough day or you just want to smile, go to my YouTube channel and watch a video and smile.
Is there any Arnie videos out there?
Arnie, you talking about Arnie? Okay, Arnie.
I know your friend Arnie.
Yeah, my friend Arnie. I think I have. Yeah, I have how he was built because Studio Fractal, Kenny and his team built me a Predator cosplay, as they call it. But this Predator cosplay is not designed to look like the scary movie version, I wanted it to look like Disney made it, and it's a cute.
It's cute.
It's cute. It's a cute predator, guys. It's cute predator alien. Make sure you say predator alien.
Yeah. Alien.
Yeah.
So, and then one of my admins just linked your Twitter.
Oh, thank
and
you.
she just linked your Instagram. I
Yes.
told you my people are on
They
it.
are working. Where are they? They're like elves or something. Like,
They're
I go
with
to
Mark
sleep.
Hamill.
Yeah.
They're with Mark
They're
Hamill.
in the other room with Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
No, because they're all.
They're working.
I
Look
told
at
you I got
Yeah.
backup. I
Wow.
got people.
And most of them are flying or driving here in the next 3 or 4
Yes,
days for a
my-
meetup.
Oh yeah.
so-
Okay.
So yeah, my staff will actually be in town this week.
Nice. Hey,
so.
staff.
So, and that's another thing before we go, you guys. Please don't forget the big TMSM Meetup weekend is this weekend. We have a kickoff party at Disney Springs at the Planet Hollywood Stargazer Bar at 6 o'clock on
Friday.
So we're going to be celebrating the meetup. We're going to do a raffle. We are celebrating my new book, which comes out
Congratulations, new
tomorrow.
book.
So we're going to be doing that. And about the book, tune in tomorrow because I will have all.
We'll do a live feed when we get it.
We'll take care of you guys. And then so Disney Springs Friday night, Epcot from noon on. There's a whole schedule on the event tab on Main Street Mouse's Facebook page. So we really hope to see you guys, and we hope you come out because we're gonna have prizes and fun and a scavenger hunt and all this great, awesome things at Epcot. And it's our way of giving back and saying thank you to all of you for supporting us all year long, like you do. So
That's awesome.
What's that?
That is
Oh, I
it.
thought you, I could see him doing this. I'm like, what am I
We
forgetting?
need Mark to get Whoopi to come out and
Yeah.
Processional and meet our group on Saturday.
Yeah, Whoopi will be the narrator.
Whoopi
when
will
we're
be the
there.
narrator on Saturday night while we're there.
Could you imagine?
So-
Hey, Whoopi, right this way, please.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Kind of the way
Wish.
George Lucas's wife did. With
You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's Melody?
So, again, and if you can find Mark's link. Suzanne had put links
Thanks, Suzanne.
in this feed. We'll upload it. We'll keep it pinned
Your
to the top
YouTube
of
channel
the
just
page.
hit. She just
Yeah,
posted that.
Suzanne
Oh, yeah.
has got you. She's got
Suzanne
all.
is good.
Yeah.
Can I hire Suzanne?
Yeah.
What's going on, Suzanne? I need a
You
publicist.
need a Suzanne.
Yeah, I need a Suzanne.
So for thank you so much for doing this. This has been so much fun.
This has been great. Thank you so much. Great questions. It's great to be here. You guys are fun, and you got a great following.
Yes.
People love you guys, and I like seeing you guys out in the parks, and I like following your stories, and so.
And we like
thanks for
following
having
you
me.
too.
Well,
so
thank you.
it works out.
Yeah.
So again, you can follow Mark in all the places that are in the link.
Yeah.
And for those of you who we won't see this weekend at the meetup, we're gonna do live feeds and we're gonna do all that happy stuff too. So you're not gonna miss out, and we're gonna
And
give
there'll
you
be ways
prizes
for
at
them
home.
to get prizes.
Yes, we're gonna keep watching because we're gonna do a way to. You guys can earn prizes at home too. Like I know people want to meet up buttons and all that happy stuff. So it's coming. So stay tuned.
And this is the first, I guess I can go on camera now.
Come on in, man.
Come on in.
This is the first year we will actually have a 2018 meetup button because it is our 5th year of meetup.
Yes.
So there will be a special button that will be available on Saturday to the first 200 that can get it. If we have 200, if we have 20, then you can all have 10.
Anyway.
Yeah, so we will have a special button that will go up on Saturday. We will also have buttons on Friday night that are Christmas inspired.
Yeah, we got you. We got presents. We got presents.
Nice.
Plus the Haunted Mansion buttons, we have some, so the old kind. So we have plenty.
So yeah. All right. So
You
and
ready to
then,
do me my social?
go ahead.
So if you're watching us now, you're following us at The Main Street Mouse on Facebook. You can also follow us on Instagram at The Main Street Mouse. On Twitter, it's just Main Street Mouse. And on YouTube, The Main ST Mouse. When you subscribe on Twitter, please hit the notification bell so you get notifications so that when we put a video, you'll hear about it. Same thing with Mark's page. Do the same thing. Hit that little bell and that way you'll get notified when the videos hit. You can also follow Michelle on Instagram at Cindershella4. Cindershella4.
Or at the Main Street Mouse.
Or at the Main Street Mouse. Or you can follow me, TMSM_Avenger on Instagram. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. Thank you so much, Mark, for being here. It was an awesome show.
Thank you. It's been great.
For doing this for us. Maybe we can get back one day in the future, get him back here and talk about what's going on from here till then. So
Yeah.
Yes.
hopefully.
Awesome.
We'll see.
All right.
But
thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week. And I got to go shop the camera.
You gotta go
Yeah.
shut up.
Bye. Happy holidays, everyone.
Yes. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.
And-
Stick